One of my granddaughters, who just lives right down on Pleasant Grove across from I-65, is having her 13th birthday tonight. And so my daughter invited a bunch of her school friends and so forth, and it started out 5 or 10 and got up to about 20. Once it passed 10, my daughter called Rita and said, "I need your home and I need you." Our house is just a little bit, we have a nice kind of game room upstairs. And so that's where Rita is tonight. She sends her regrets, but at the same time, she's glad she's there, and I'm glad I'm here. You can just imagine being around 20 or 25, 12 to 13-year-olds. I have no idea what I'll find when I get back. Normally I wouldn't have used notes tonight, but at the last minute I looked at quite a bit of information that's been coming across our desk from economists and all kinds of news sources that will affect you all as, or affect all of us as investors. So I thought in a few cases it might be nice if I put some numbers with the information so that it would sound a little more believable. But Rita and I have been spending quite a bit of time lately either with audio, teleconferencing, video conferencing, or we've been very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to have been sit in with quite a number of some of our country's absolutely best economists, and I do mean our country's best economists. Doesn't mean we always agree with what they say. What they say, if you want 15 opinions, that's 10 different economists, and you'll get 15 opinions. But it has been kind of interesting. I thought about a theme for tonight. Well, how do we, even for a 20-minute talk, how do I put a theme on it? My son and his family are live in Michigan right now, and they were out visiting us about 2 weeks ago. He's a pastor there in Michigan, and he has a couple of children. Well, they came over and spent the week, and my daughter brought her family over, and they were decorating the Christmas tree while I was outside trying to put up some lights. When I went in, they had the tree all decorated. And the tree was looking absolutely beautiful, as trees do, Christmas trees. But what was really, I was just amazed, is when somebody put the lights on, I guess I saw some of the most beautiful ornaments back in there that, quite honestly, without the lights, I couldn't see. So tonight, I kind of want to shed some light, if you will, on some information of, we'll call it investment ornaments. Because quite honestly, all is not bad. And yet sometimes I feel when I turn on the news that all is bad. I seldom feel like I really got very much good news. Do you all feel kind of the same way a lot of times when you listen to the radio or television, that they're slanting the news more negative? Not so much politically, but just not really giving us, as Paul Harvey says, the rest of the story. So I just want to share a little bit with you. Because so much is happening, I won't be able to cover everything. I want to leave a few minutes maybe for a question and answer period, but we have been covering a lot of material. And I just want to, again, some of this you may have heard, but I hope all of it will be somewhat refreshing. And even if you have heard it, I hope it will be important enough that it will reinforce what you already know, and at the same time be of value to you, not as an investor necessarily with the investment clubs, although wouldn't that be nice too, but also with your personal savings. Well, first of all, let me just give the latest barometer is always holiday sales. How did holiday sales do on Black Friday? Did you all hear that they set absolute records, the highest sales increase ever? The sales were up this year 16.4% over last year. On Black Friday alone, online sales, this is just sales on a computer, were up 24% this year. And they actually were able to measure sales from people using their cell phones or their iPads or other tablets, that kind of thing. And they constituted 10% of all online sales. Last year, they only constituted 3%. So now people are actually taking their iPhones or iPads or other tablets to the stores, and they're scanning the barcodes. And if they find a better deal at another store, or if they find them online somewhere, and I did this with my son. We went to REI. He wanted a pair of snow boots from in Michigan. They were $198 plus tax. I found the exact same boots online for $110. So we bought them online. He didn't have to put them in his luggage. We shipped them to Michigan, and he got to keep the other $90. So I thought that was pretty nice. Now, I think a lot of people are starting to do that. Now, one of the things that I thought I would just cover rates are in the threes right now in some cases, not only for 30-year, but definitely for 15-year. I just refinanced my house about 11 years ago, about a 15-year loan on it, and I still refinanced it this last year at 3.5%. Now, can you imagine 3.5%? I remember when we moved to California in 82, remember that? My interest rate on my house was 16.5%. Remember those days? Who could afford a house at 16.5%? Well, luckily, I was with a big oil company, and they would subsidize it because I never could have done that by myself. But I just want to let you know that, as you know, lower interest rates are good for the economy. In fact, they're good for any economy. Well, we're certainly seeing low rates. In fact, did you know what the Federal Reserve effective rate is right now? The Federal Reserve Fund rate is currently at 0. Yes, that is actually correct. Bernanke came out the other day and actually said that himself. Those were the exact words. He said the rate is now 0. Well, in case you didn't know, the 2-year Treasury is at a whopping 0.23%. Now, how would you like to lock up 2 years at 0.23? Well, you know that groceries are going up much more than that. Gasoline this last year has certainly gone up that much. But I just thought I'd let you know, rates are coming down worldwide. Did you happen to know that the European Central Bank just lowered rates a 0.25%? Did you also know that it's not just the big countries lowering rates? Now, Australia just lowered rates, Denmark, Romania, China, and Brazil. We'll talk about those just a little bit more. Switzerland, Turkey, Israel, Serbia, Pakistan, Indonesia, and Croatia have all lowered their rates just in the last 60 to 90 days. Why? They're trying to stimulate their economies. That's what they're doing. And are they going to? Yes. When you lower rates, you lower the cost of business, the cost of money to business, and you also make things more affordable. Automobiles are more affordable, and things are more affordable. You probably heard recently that China and Brazil were actually slowing down, and that's true. Do you know why? Because inflation in China was actually climbing rather high on food costs. And of course, they're bringing lots and lots of people out of the fields and the hills into the cities. And of course, food costs was really going up. So a couple of years ago, they raised interest rates so they could slow down the cost. Brazil was going through the same thing. Brazil won the rights to have one of the next Olympics. You're probably aware of that. They also won the rights to win the next World Cup, which is a big soccer event worldwide. It's kind of our Super Bowl. Well, all that growth going on for those two events was causing inflation. And so they slowed their economy down just a little bit to cap that inflation a couple of years ago. And just in the last 90 days, both countries have started lowering their interest rates again. They feel like they have inflation under control, and they're now what does that mean to you and me? I'll tell you what it means. It means that companies doing business in China and Brazil, and who's that? Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble, what are they selling? Tide detergent. All kinds of things are being sold over in those countries. And now that rates are going down, we actually will probably see the growth rates in those companies get back to where it was a couple of years ago. In China, it was around 11%. In certain industries, like the automotive industry, are growing at 16% per year. You've probably heard that China right now is, people are buying more cars there than we are in America. They are real. China's not an exporting nation only anymore. They're now becoming a consuming nation. And that means a lot of our companies can now sell their consumers products, which is exactly what's going on. Well, did you all know that higher productivity is going on right now in America? And when I say higher productivity, now first of all, what is that? That's the amount of output, goods and services, per worker hour, per hour. That is up 3.1% in the third quarter. We just got third quarter numbers. People say, well, is that good or bad? 3% doesn't sound that good. It's the best in 6 quarters. So productivity, now obviously, how do you want to increase productivity? Well, you cut costs. Some ways you cut costs, and this is not good for jobs. Sometimes you lay off people. If you can produce the same amount of goods and services with less people or other less cost, that's higher productivity. And as investors, though,